What if your own mother looked you straight in the eyes and told you, repeatedly, for years, that she would kill you before you turned 18? What would that do to your mind, your sense of safety, your ability to trust? She didn't say it once. She didn't say it in anger just a few times. She said it hundreds of times. This is the disturbing and heartbreaking true story of Katie Austin Lee, a mother who made that horrifying promise to her own teenage son and then carried it out the day before his 18th birthday. Austin Dean Picard was a 17-year-old boy living in Holland. To those who knew him, he was a quiet, artistic, and gentle young man, someone who preferred peace over conflict and creativity over chaos. He loved drawing, listening to music, and escaping into his imagination. He often dreamed about the day he would finally turn 18 and gain his freedom. Like many teenagers, Austin was navigating the difficult transition into adulthood. He had his struggles, typical teenage anxiety, the pressure of school, and the challenges of growing up in a single-parent household. But despite everything, he remained kind-hearted, thoughtful, and full of quiet hope for the future. He wanted something simple: to finish high school, get a job, move out, and build a life of his own, a normal life, far away from fear. His mother, Katie Austin Lee, was 40 years old at the time. She was raising Austin alone in the Bay Point apartments. On the surface, they appeared to be an ordinary mother and son, but behind closed doors, their relationship had become deeply toxic, controlling, and increasingly dangerous. For years, Katie had repeatedly told Austin, friends, family members, and even strangers that she would never allow him to live to see his 18th birthday. It wasn't treated like a joke. It became a pattern, a warning, a constant, terrifying shadow hanging over Austin's entire life. Neighbors later recalled hearing loud arguments and threats coming from the apartment. Some even said they heard Katie screaming that she would end him before he became an adult. Katie's mental health had been deteriorating for a long time. She struggled with severe anger issues, paranoia, and an overwhelming need for control. Experts who later analyzed the case described her as having traits of a personality disorder, combined with deep resentment toward her son. She saw Austin's approaching 18th birthday not as a milestone of independence, but as a personal threat. The moment she would lose her power over him, the moment she would no longer be able to control his life. Austin lived in constant fear, a fear that never really left him, even on quiet days. He tried to stay out of the house as much as possible, spending time with friends or alone with his art. He confided in a few close people that he was scared of what his mother might do. He wanted to leave. He needed to leave. But he was still a minor and felt completely trapped. The psychological pressure on him was immense. Living every day, knowing your own mother had promised to kill you. As Austin's 18th birthday drew closer, Katie's threats became more frequent, more intense, and more violent. Her behavior became increasingly unstable. In the days leading up to February 21st, 2025, just one day before Austin would turn 18, the situation reached a breaking point. On that fateful night, Katie gave her son a mixture of mind-altering substances and medications intended to render him unconscious. When that didn't work fast enough, she took a large kitchen knife and brutally attacked him. She stabbed him multiple times, cutting his arms and throat in a frenzied and violent assault. After the attack, Katie called 911 herself. When police officers arrived at the apartment, they found her still holding the bloody knife, refusing to drop it. They had to use a taser to subdue her. Inside the apartment, they discovered Austin's body in a horrific scene that left even experienced officers shaken, a scene they would not easily forget. Katie later told investigators that she had done it out of love. She claimed there had been a mutual murder pact, or death wish, because Austin supposedly didn't want to turn 18. Prosecutors completely rejected this defense.
The attorney-client privilege, but have you and your office been given an adequate opportunity to explore the criminal responsibility aspects of this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
Is that something that you are wishing to explore further or not?
Not at this time, Your Honor.
Have you had an adequate opportunity to discuss that possible defense with your client?
Yes, Judge.
And is she on board with the decision to proceed with this plea today?
Yes, Judge.
Do you wish to confirm with her that?
Yes,
was it?
Judge. Ms. Lee, are you satisfied?
Describing the killing as a cold-blooded, calculated, and premeditated murder carried out by a mother who had threatened her son for years. Psychological experts who reviewed the case pointed to Katie's deep-seated fear of abandonment and loss of control. To her, Austin turning 18 symbolized the end of her identity as his mother and the loss of the power she held over him. This case became a tragic example of filicide, driven by severe psychological issues and long-term emotional abuse. The evidence against Katie Austin Lee was overwhelming. Investigators found the medications used to drug Austin, the murder weapon, and clear signs of a violent struggle. Court records revealed a long history of threats, arguments, and emotional abuse, documented by friends, neighbors, and even Austin himself in private conversations, a pattern that had been building for years. Katie was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. During the trial, prosecutors painted a chilling picture of years of psychological torment inflicted upon her son. Witnesses testified about the repeated death threats. The jury heard how Austin had lived in fear for years, counting down the days until he could finally escape. In a relatively swift trial, Katie Austin Lee was found guilty of first-degree murder. She was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. As of 2026, Katie remains behind bars. The case continues to spark intense discussions about parental abuse, mental health, and how society can better protect children trapped in dangerous home environments. Austin's story has become a tragic reminder that sometimes the greatest danger a child faces is not on the streets, but inside their own home. Austin Dean Picard was a gentle, artistic boy who simply wanted to grow up and live his life. Instead, he was murdered by the one person who was supposed to protect him, his own mother. Her repeated promises to kill him before he turned 18 were never empty threats. They were warnings that were ignored until it was too late. This case forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about family, mental health, and the hidden horrors that can exist behind closed doors. What would you do if you knew your own parent wanted you dead? How can we better protect children in dangerous households? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I read every single one. If you want more chilling true crime stories like this, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. A brand new case drops every single week. Thank you for watching. This is Spaceship Media. Stay safe out there.